You know that you're supposed to walk backwards on a treadmill and it's really good for your knees?
I've seen people do that. I don't feel comfortable with that.
I don't feel comfortable with people watching me do that, basically. But, good for all those people who feel confident enough to walk backwards on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Greg?
I thought this was a duet. Oh, so you're just going to sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds. Can you hear me? Bonk.
Welcome to Miss Thing. I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim. And this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates the Miss Things of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, in every episode, we take a key moment from our Miss Thing storied career and do what we do best, which is make it all about us in that sort of special gay way.
And this episode is unique in that this is the first time we've taken a little teeny break.
A little teeny break. Listeners didn't even notice.
They wouldn't know.
And you will notice the complete collapse in quality.
You also noticed the blow up. We got a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah. Actually, this is a good question. If you were to get plastic surgery additional to what you just got,
yes. Okay.
What would it be?
Okay, that is. You know what I would be getting 100%? I would like to get my eyelids, I feel like I have saggy lids. And I would love to get, cut those open, show a little bit more of the peepers.
Sure. So up top, you want to do a lid up top.
So you can sort of be like, what is it called? A lid surgery?
Sure, I guess a lid lift.
A lid lift. A lid lift.
So
is what I want.
So what I'm hearing is that you're wanting more whites of the eyes from the top.
Not like in a scary way where it looks like Ramona Singer.
It sounds scary.
No, but just like in a way where it feels like, just sometimes I feel like I probably look more tired than I actually am, and it's just because of a saggy lid.
Sure, sure, yeah.
So that's kind of and also how long, we could make this whole podcast about all of the things that I would nip and tuck.
Yeah, six-parter.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of the season, and the season is all just 40 years.
The season is in perpetuity.
Yeah, exactly. What would you get done?
It's funny. I'm in an eye space as well. Ooh. It's funny that you talk about the lid. Not to distract from me, because I'll get to me, but my mother famously is wanting to let her lids go lower and lower and lower, because as soon as it goes below, and it touches the eye, insurance has to cover that.
What do you mean touches? I would argue that my lid's always touching
when the lid goes whoa down, it goes under the eye, it obstructs the vision. That's when insurance
insurance should step in for me.
Yeah. So maybe you should get weights to sort of dangle down.
Yeah, when people say I've been going to the gym, that's my version of the gym. Before you got here, I just was doing lid weights. Yeah.
That's your version of
lid
weights.
lifts. Yeah.
Yeah, and the results are showing.
Yeah, hopefully.
No, I used to be in an eye space. I think now I'd probably do something with I don't want to do too much face work. The neck, I'm starting to notice motion. But then, because I of course, sleep like this.
Yeah.
I sleep like this. Viewer, watch that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Put that in your pipe
for the people who aren't watching this, Greg is kind of purposely making himself have a double chin, even though he doesn't have a double chin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He doesn't. But yeah, no, I'm starting to get the line, so I might do a neck something.
Okay.
I also have always sort of had deep jowls, which you can't tell because I have a beard, which is boy makeup, as they say.
Right, yes.
And I'd love to get I have a huge divot in the middle of my.
No, you don't.
Well, you can't tell now because I've got my curly Sues.
Yeah.
I got my curly Sues. We've got Annie.
Now, is this are the curly Sues on purpose to cover?
No, the curly Sues just happened. As we know, I've been on a hair growth journey. Mostly.
I kind of want you to never cut it and then like cut to years down the pod and it's like touching, it's like covering your whole ass.
It's still so springy. I think I think it's like wanting to
Full
be closer
Annie.
to the sky.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it a million times on the pod.
But it's kind of, I mean, that's the same. Oh, gonna be a good pod.
And where's the hummingbird?
Exactly. I feel like my hair, which we can cut this because we always talk about our hair, but is mine just goes up and out. It's like a full bulbous bush.
Yeah.
So it needs to be cut at all times.
Sure. Yeah. You got to grow past it, as they say. So that's what I'm doing. I can
never even get to that stage. It's immediately, let's cut it.
Maybe that should be a missing thing. Since we're going to be on the air for a million years,
yes.
Maybe we can do a year or two of growth.
That sounds exhausting. Growth? I don't know. Yeah, I want to stay the same.
Yeah, no changes here. I've learned all my lessons. So shall we get into our doll of the day, mother of the moment, sister of the second?
Otherwise known as Dog Mom Sauce.
Yeah, our famous segment where we talk about the person, place, or thing right now that we're super obsessed with. Do you have one?
I do.
Okay.
Color
me shocked.
Yeah, I really said that very pointedly at you.
Yes.
But it's also because while you were,
Sleeping.
announcing the segment and while you were sleeping, great movie.
What great movie. Also, I just read My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which is my current
Did
mood.
you finish?
I did.
Okay.
It was really rough. It's an amazing book.
I do keep wanting to read it, but I just feel like my mental state needs to be in a really good place.
Make sure you're on solid footing when you read it. But it's amazingly well written and it's so good.
Anyways, back to Dog Mom Sauce. For the last few whatever, I was in Nevada City. I'm up there with Anthony. I'm meeting his friends. We're up at this Airbnb. The Yuba River is right nearby, which is why we're there. I'm meeting one of his it's more of it's his best friend's friend. So he's friends with him, but it's more so
second cousin vibes.
Exactly, second cousin's vibe.
First removed.
Exactly,
second cousin first removed.
The whole weekend, me and this guy's name, I don't know if I should actually, should I shout him out? Maybe I just say.
Well, it depends. Let's give them a little.
Let's just
Elvis.
Let's just call him Elvis. Thank you.
Nevada City.
Yes, we are hugging goodbye. We're literally putting our stuff into the cars. And maybe I should back up slightly, which is the night before we were in the hot tub. And when we were in the hot tub, he's a big cinephile. And he is listing off 5 movies he's seen recently at his local theater. Most of them are foreign language films or indie, whatever. And he's not actually even being pretentious about it. It organically happened. It's the 4th night. We're really bonded.
Yeah, I would say we should get Elvis on the pod, but it's actually too smart in this way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cut to the next day. We're saying goodbye. As I go to give him a hug, I was it was so nice to meet you, Elvis. And thank you so much. Thank you. Title of that. It was so nice to meet you, Elvis.
There with his lover Priscilla.
Yeah.
Much younger.
And I was literally I give him a hug, and then I'm and by the way, thank you for those film recs. And he goes, oh yeah? Which ones?
Oh no.
And I'm
no.
How dare you? How dare you? And
how dare you know the ones.
You know the ones. It was literally 12 hours ago. I cannot remember a single one. I can't remember what any of them is about. One of them I remember sounded scary.
Okay.
But it actually wasn't scary. The title was literally look out or something.
Sure.
And so then I was I really like the one. Remember the one that sounded kind of scary, but it wasn't, it was about someone at a lookout station or something.
Okay.
Fully floundering. And meanwhile, Anthony is packing the car behind me, and he can just sense that I'm really in it. So then he tries very sweetly to be oh, that movie Close. You really like that one, Tim, right? And I was that's the one I recommend.
Not helping.
Yeah, not helping. That's the only one that I did of this. And so, and then he very sweetly was just oh, they're all hard to pronounce. And then we hugged, and then he got into his car. So these 4 days of bonding with Elvis, completely dumpster fire, Tarnished.
Yeah, you did not exchange numbers.
We did not exchange numbers. It was one of those things where it's like it couldn't have ended in a worse way.
Yeah.
And but then as I was left to think with my thoughts for the long 9-hour drive back to LA, I was like, it's kind of iconic, and this is why he's my dad mom sauce, that like I would love to have the confidence of telling someone about movies and then the next time they bring it up be like, yeah, which ones? You know, like really hold their feet to the fire. So thank you, Elvis, for kind of being my inspiration.
Thank you, Elvis. You know, unfortunately or fortunately, that is very me. To sort of be presenting information and then to quiz someone immediately afterwards.
100%.
Because I know, I see it in the eyes
like,
when you're checking,
really?
when you're checked in, when you're checked out, and take it from someone who forgets everything.
Yeah.
Boy, do I know when someone else is going to forget.
It's also like, I do think it should be illegal, honestly.
To quiz like that?
To quiz.
It's, yeah, I mean, we're not in school.
We're not in school, and it's like,
the
I'm just
education
giving
system
you,
is broken in this
it's like,
country.
I'm giving you, like, just a compliment, like, wow, you're smart. You like cool movies. Like,
Right.
Thanks for, like, telling me about that. Take the compliment.
Yes.
And get in your car.
Yeah, and go.
You know? And go. I don't
Get
need
out of
yeah,
Nevada.
This isn't a, yeah, exactly.
City.
Nevada, yeah. It's not a pop quiz, you know? But that being said,
He's
Elvis,
like, what state are we in? You're like, I'm...
I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah. Greg, do you have a dad mom sauce?
Wow. My dad mom sauce, for better or worse, ultimately worse, I have to be honest, is a little program called Love Island USA.
U.S. Now that's a swerve.
It is a swerve.
Okay.
Sort of as low as one can go.
Yeah, I've honestly only ever heard of people watching the UK one, sometimes Australia.
So basically I'm doing this really radical thing. Love Island, apparently they air it almost every single night. So I think there's at least 5 episodes a week. There's 30-something episodes. I'm doing the amazing thing called Starting It Now. So I'm on like episode 3 or 4.
Of what season?
Of the current one, 6.
Okay.
The one that everyone's currently talking about, but episode like 34 or 35 that they're on now. And I'm sort of like back at 3 or 4. Everything is 60 to an hour and a half. It's like full Stranger Things length television. The people are remarkable in so many ways. There's a person named Kaylor, or Kaylor, but I call her Kaylor. It sort of sounds like she was named after like a dinosaur action figure or something. Very Reptar.
Kaylor.
Kaylor.
Okay.
This person cries. I don't think I've ever seen them not crying. She has what one could only refer to as... she has what can only be described as Mrs. Potato Head lips. They're sort of...
Okay.
The way they move when she cries, it's remarkable. She's paired with some British guy who was on the Traders UK. Really liked him at first. He does this thing where with his lips where he kind of looks like a beaver, or just like...
Okay.
I love him, though. He's really fun. There's a person that's a snake charmer called Rob. We haven't gone... Like, I'm not that far yet. I have a feeling he's going to be the most evil person on the planet soon.
I kind of feel like all Robs are evil.
All Robs. And
I don't think I actually know a Rob in real life, but I feel
never met a Rob.
I feel like
I know Rob.
every time I've met a Rob... in passing, like, or on TV, they're evil.
Douche.
Yeah.
Douche.
There's
the Robs
just-
I know are nice.
Robbie, a little bit better. A little bit better.
Robbie's nice. Robbie's like a down-home.
Yeah.
You can
Robbie,
play...
you want to be friends with Rob? Get far away. Run.
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, this Rob, he's definitely evil. I can tell he's about to become more and more evil. Tim just spilled all over himself.
I don't even know
do
what...
that while I'm talking.
I don't even know
Don't
how
do that while
happened.
That is...
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
I was thinking of time and space because it felt like something jumped out of my tea. Anyways, what were you saying about Rob?
No, it's just he's evil, and I, of course, am in love with him, I think. And
yeah,
that's
that makes
just,
sense.
That's the way it is.
Wow.
He's a snake charmer.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Welcome back. Wow, you sort of wouldn't believe the adventure that we just went on.
It's shocking and troubling.
Troubling. Yeah.
So we lost a good half of this episode.
so glad you bravely told it like it is.
Yeah, it's on me. I will bravely admit that it is my fault, and Greg is being a true hero and a champ.
Yeah, not a scholar, but a hero.
Definitely not a scholar. No one could ever accuse you of that. So we have our phones on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah,
and
famously.
And Greg is in the middle of his story. Now, listeners, we're a good 30 minutes from this part of the podcast that we're starting over at right now.
Yeah, we were running along.
Yeah, we were basically at Diva Down. And literally, Greg's like, I think your phone is ringing. And I was like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
And turns out, actually, it was ringing, even though I was on Do Not Disturb. And it was a collect call. Is that what you call them?
Well, it's from an 800 number.
An 800 number, which broke through my Do Not Disturb by calling twice in less than a minute. Which
they
is
really needed to get
actually the worst thing that's ever happened. But maybe also the best thing, because if we did not, we would have continued through Diva Down and so much longer without realizing that actually we weren't recording any of it.
Yeah, it was our saving grace, this 1-800 number. Our canary in the coal mine. I don't know if I'm using that phrase
I think also
correctly.
this random number, maybe it's even going to be like the title of the episode. We want you to call this number and thank them for helping us not waste our time.
Yeah. Usually it's the 1-900 numbers that are trying to waste time because you pay by the minute.
Oh, really? I don't know if I know about a one. Is that like
a
sex?
190? I think you might be too young. Yeah, it could. Yeah,
definitely
for sex
that.
or whatever. It was one of those numbers that they'd put that on TV late at night and sort of tell
How many
you.
times did you call?
I was never allowed to. I was never
allowed to. So you really wanted to call the sex hotline?
Well, any 1-900. I was never allowed to call a number that was on television because my parents knew that I watched a lot of TV. That I would call them. That I would not stop talking, and that I would be ringing up the credit card bill.
This feels like it was done in the 80s. Like this feels so much older.
It was a long time ago. I was young.
Yeah,
I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. This was back Oregon Trail days.
Okay.
Back when I was on the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. Dying of dysentery.
Of course.
And I don't know if you're fully recovered. But anyways, we digress. And it is time to get into
our Miss Thing.
Okay.
Our Miss Thing of the week. Our Miss Thing of the summer.
Our Miss Thing, she is so good we had to do her twice.
Yeah.
In one episode.
So nice. But also so much of a little brat. That
listeners,
we needed to do her twice.
Our Miss Thing of the week is
Charli XCX.
The one, the only, the pop girl of summer, the pop girl of 2024, which I probably shouldn't be saying this, but at least I didn't see her coming. I didn't see her gripping our throats for 2024 when all these other girls released pop albums this spring, and she was like, hold the phone.
Hold my glass of wine.
Yeah.
And then hand it back to me when I'm on stage, which she did when I saw her at the shrine. She held a glass of wine. She said, I don't want to sing this one. And the music just played. And that is Brat Summer personified.
That's also very us.
That's incredibly us.
Yeah.
I wish that was me right now. I wish I had my glass of wine and let you do the talking.
I mean, I wish that too. I wish you just had a big glass of wine and I talked,
Yeah. She's a proper English girl.
The girl from Essex.
This icon is just a young girl from Essex, and never forget that. Lord or other.
The Girl So Confusing remix with Lord is truly, the album is like the best reviewed album of the year, but the thing that I can't get enough of is the fact that she was brave enough to kind of tackle this subject of a song that's talking about being competitive with a woman, loving a woman, hating a woman, someone that you're friends with, but you have a lot of complicated emotions, and that can very easily be turned pitting you against that person, but she was like, no, the way I'm going to write this, you're not going to interpret it that way. And then be brave enough to send it to Lorde, which it was about. And then for her to also, like, not just be, like, hurt and be like, ugh, I'm annoyed by this, but actually hop on a remix and do it. It's, like, it's the best feature since Nicki Minaj and Monster.
Yeah. Literally So Us, by the way. As you're talking about, literally So Us minus the quality song. Everything's clicking into place. The marketing, you know, just...
She's like, this is 10 years worth plus of a career, like, really getting better and better each time that she releases something.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just, she's meeting the moment's meeting her, like... And also the album's constantly evolving. She's releasing those remixes, and then it's evolving in real time, and it can go up on TikTok, and then there's the dances, and just each song is becoming a moment and has a life of its own, and she's really riding the wave, and I think it's incredible. But honestly, and we love Charli. Mm-hmm. We're both Brathius,
yes,
as I like to say. You know, we're not quite brats. We're not
distinguished.
Gennifer Zs, like our beloved Gennifer Zs. We're millennial Zs.
Yes, exactly.
We're millennial Zs. But yeah, I mean, enough about Charli. I would love to know how you make.
Thank God, I was waiting.
This brat summer all about you.
Okay, well, how I may make Charli all about me is I think of Charli as being the ultimate party girl. And for me...
That's you?
That's me.
Oh.
I personally, you know, I would say a party girl for me, in my definition, is not what you think. It's like someone who's doing tons of drugs and alcohol, but it's someone who can't stop being talked about no matter where they go. When they enter a party, everyone is talking about them.
Okay.
And I know you might be thinking, like, I don't personally have this experience with you, but there was one time that I have felt like I entered a party and I felt, everyone here is talking about me, for better or for worse. I'm so Julia.
Okay.
And that is, you were at this party. It was Halloween. I don't know how long ago, but it was like season 4, season 5 of Game of Thrones, because I dressed as Hodor. And spoiler alert, but you should already have seen this because this was released like 8 years ago, this episode. But it was the Halloween party took place like a couple months or not that long after the episode where Hodor dies, holding the door, how he gets his name.
So why don't you describe what you were wearing to this party?
So you saw this, which
so
is
remarkable.
I was poor as fuck, and I didn't have a lot of money, and so I was like, I'm going to make my costume. And so then I was like, what do I have around the house? I had a huge brown comforter, thick as hell.
You had that lying around.
Just lying around. I know, we don't need to talk about that. And then also I was like, okay, so but I'm going to just wrap that around my body, get like a bungee cord or a belt and tie that around. And then I'm just going to make like a cardboard door. And so I thought, wow, this is going to be like so cheap, so easy. Did not for once think through the fact that I am making like a life-size cardboard door, strapping it onto my back like a backpack. And then I go to this party, and I'm at the party, and very quickly I realize everyone is being like, this guy is so Julia in a way, because I am blocking every exit and entrance in order to move around, I have to basically like do a lunge, turn sideways, because the door is so huge, so massive that no one can see their friends. I'm blocking the view for everyone.
Exactly. You're so Julia in the sense that you're posing like the biggest fire hazard. No one can get in or out past you.
And I'm kind of the gatekeeper.
Yeah, gatekeeper in that way. And that is what they say about you.
And so I'm, whatever. I'm going about the party. There's a photo booth. I go to the photo booth to try to commemorate this moment in my life, As I'm waiting in line, this attractive guy comes out of the photo booth, having just taken some photos, and with the little strip of piece of paper, he slams it against my chest. I was talking to someone. I can't remember who it was. They were unmemorable.
Sure.
And so as...
I believe we were in line.
It could have been you.
We were trying to take a photo together, actually. But of course, I couldn't fit in the booth.
100%.
Yeah.
And you are someone who I like to think of as unmemorable. and so I'm waiting. He then very aggressively slams his photo set onto my chest. I kind of instantly revert to being like a little boy. I'm being bullied for being gay.
Sure.
I like shrink up, look away, won't engage with this man. He seems to maybe be smiling, but I feel like it's like the smile of someone who's about to bully me. So I look away, and then he just keeps moving. And then my friend, I don't think it was you actually, it was someone else, like was like, dude, that was actually kind of rude. You just like ignored that guy. And I was like, what are you talking about?
He literally say dude.
Yeah, you would say
dude. That wasn't me.
I don't
know. That
know.
was not me.
I actually don't think the person said dude, but the vibe was very much dude. You know? And then
revisionist history.
Exactly. And then I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I was like, he just slapped my chest really hard. He was being very aggressive. And he was like, no, he wrote his number on that. And he was like hitting on you. And I was like, what? You can only see the pupils of my eyes at this point. I'm fully covered. I'm a sweat-drenched brown ball.
Yeah.
You know?
But he had to hit you as hard as possible because you were wrapped up in so many layers of
exactly. He thought he
comforter.
He thought
brown comforter.
He probably, if he just did it lightly, I wouldn't have felt it because I had so many layers. Yeah.
Door, comforter. That's just he's trying to get your attention.
Exactly. And he got it. And so then I pick up the number, I see it, and I'm like, damn, I feel like a real arsehole. So I
somehow makes that feels
I
icky.
kind of love saying arsehole. And so I pick it up and I'm like, I should go talk to this man. This is very sweet. Kind of explain why I like instantly like looked away when he very bravely handed me his number. It's a packed house. I cannot move around quickly, so it takes me like 40 minutes just to get to one room.
Is the house packed, or is it just your cumbersome costume?
I think it's both. It's both of those. Two things can be true.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? And that is, yes, that is what I come here to learn every week. I get on the mic every week and I learn.
Yeah, I'm nothing if not an educator.
Thank you.
And so I finally like get out into the backyard after 40 minutes of it being like, oh, excuse me, excuse me, I'm just gonna squat onto my knees and like suck in and try to get through this doorway.
Okay.
I find the guy and I'm like, oh, sorry about that. And he was like, well, I'm leaving now. And he was like, I'm going to the next party. And I was like, what? We were just interacting. He was like, well, it took you long enough. And I was like, well, this place is a maze and I have a door attached to me.
Sure.
And so then he's like, well, you have my number. Call me. I'm like, of course. And now I know this is for sure. I see you. You are having a full allergy attack, as is your way. And so I turn to you, I recap the story. I'm like, you'll never guess what happened. I tell you it. I don't even move my feet. I literally just like swivel, rotate to the left to tell you the story. By the time I rotate back, he has not been gone for more than 30 seconds at this point. His number is like gone to the wind. Somehow it left my hand. It is nowhere to be found. I have not moved. I have not handed it to someone else. Magic happened in that moment.
Sure.
Witchery. And so then I spend like the rest of the night trying to find this number. Don't find it. The next morning, I even go back there. I'm looking through the trash. That is how I'm like, this never happens to me. I never get hit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for you.
Where I feel the most comfortable. I'm looking through the trash trying to find this number because I'm like, I can't just like, and I don't know anyone at the party who knew this person. Finally, one of Claude's roommates comes out. It was like, wait, I actually know this person. Maybe you should step out of the trash and I will tell you who it is. It's like, that's actually a better plan.
Yeah.
I didn't think that one through.
Tim, you're throwing trash on the floor. You're sort of
exactly.
raccooning it.
Yeah, they're like, well, a guy hit on me. This doesn't happen that often. So, And so, anyways, Claude's roommate gives me the number. We reach out to go on a date. I think that this is going to be the best thing ever. We go on the date. It is maybe the worst date I've ever been on. He talked maybe 4 words the entire time. Talk about a high, followed by a low.
Right.
Which is kind of so Julia.
It's something. It's something. Yeah, I mean, you have to give him respect, as someone, he saw you at your very worst.
Yeah, but I actually do think he was still into me, but I was also like, well, I need to speak to someone who can say more than 4 words on a date.
Yeah, he was more into the idea of you as
He was more into Hodor, which, you know what? Good for all my Hodor brothers and sisters out there. Yeah.
Your Hodor girlies.
Yeah. Hodor girlies unite!
There's a support group.
Yeah, 100%.
For them out there.
We meet every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I've been talking for far too long.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So, Greg, how do you make Charli XCX all about you?
You know, how do I not make Charli XCX all about me? You know, I love neon green.
Your door?
Yeah, my door has been neon green for 10 years. Yep. Charli, you know, she's a pioneer.
She drove by your door and said, that's going to be the cover of Brat.
The marketing campaign for Brat. But Brat Summer, you know, to me is about trying new things. It's about being a little bit messy, you know, going with the flow. But I'm thinking back to a summer I had a quite a bit of a Brat summer. Yeah. I've been having them
a summer
for winter, spring, summer, and fall. Most
365.
365 pot gal. Don't make me do that in the middle of my stories.
I can't make you do anything you don't want to do.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did really want to do that. So before I moved here, I lived in New York. I went to school in New York, as mentioned a million times with my...
Oh, what school was that?
NYU, classmates and friends, best friends, inspiration to Lady Gaga, who we will cover when Joker Dulea Fo comes out, as you like to call it, Dulea Fo.
Exactly.
It is Folea do. But I'm just going to...
It's not important how you...
It's not important. It's not important, but we will be seated.
Yes.
So yeah, I lived in New York. I lived around Tompkins Square Park, which is famously for the musical theater fans out there. And what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the birthplace of Paul F. Tompkins. He's a comedian.
Who is that?
I believe. I could have just fully made that up. This might be a moment. You keep talking.
He was born in Tompkins Square Park.
It's a bad joke, but I believe there's an actor kind of like Paul Scheer. Do you know who Paul Scheer?
Oh yeah. Is this Paul F. Tompkins? Was he in BoJack?
He might be.
We don't. Neither one of us seem to know much about him, but I think he was in BoJack, and I wish him well.
Paul F. Tompkins is known for Mr. Show with Bob and David, Real Time with Bill Maher, and Best Week Ever. We will cut all of this, but he's a comedian, and
great,
and he.
And he what?
And he's the inspiration behind that park. Okay, keep going.
Oh. No. Wow. Okay.
I really thought I was gonna hit with that one.
You did?
Yes.
You did. You did. You hit something. Yeah. Wow. Woo. So I used to live by Paul F. Tompkins Square Park when I was in New York. And not only is it the birthplace of this famous comedian that I'm so aware of his incredible work, but it's also a place that is where they sort of hung out in the famous musical Rent. It was one of those beautiful New York days, though. So we left our apartment. We lived like 2 blocks away from the park, and I'm thinking, I kind of have to pee. You know, it happens. Bodily function
happens to the best of us.
Happens to the best of us. Not all of the best of us, but it happens to some of the best of us. And it happens to me frequently. And I thought, well, it's such a gorgeous day. I don't want to be uncomfortable at all. I could go back to the apartment. I'm just going to go to the bathroom here. There's a public bathroom in Tompkins Square Park.
Smart, resourceful.
Yeah, and it's also the middle of the day. There's nothing going on over there. So I head over to the bathroom. I enter, and there's one other person in there, and their back is sort of to the door. And I wish them all the best in the world, but you could sort of tell instantly that hygiene was not necessarily first on this person's list.
And this is how you related.
I see you, brother. I see you. I see you. So I need to pass this person in order to get to the urinals. Their back is turned, and as I'm passing, we sort of catch each other's eye. And he looks at me, and we both, sort of startle. We both, And he...
Which happens when anyone looks at
Looks
you.
at But instead of an inhale, his was... He must have... Something must have caught in his throat, and he coughed directly into my mouth. Turns out he must have been smoking something, so there was the plume of smoke that exited his mouth and entered mine, Ursula style, like collecting Ariel's voice, like every last
Taking
ounce
all
of smoke.
Your talent and your good looks. Yeah.
Somehow it's entering me, and yet it's taking all of my
He walked
everything.
out younger and singing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I am... Of course, I'm allergic to a lot of things, but mostly confrontation.
Yes.
So I think,
I have not.
God. So I think, oh God, I can't look this guy in the eye.
Yeah.
I just inhaled all his smoke from his mouth, and I can't look him in the eye. So I go over to the urinal, and I'm sort of doing my business, and my face is flushed. I am thinking, God, like that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot from the experience. That's
flash.
so. I've just inhaled so much of this person's soul, whatever that is. And by the way, it tastes really weird. It doesn't taste like any sort of smoke I've ever experienced before.
I'm not liking where this is going.
Yeah, it's tasting kind of metallic, and I'm thinking, well, what smoke is metallic? So I turn around. It's sort of time to face the person I just had that close interaction with, and I turn around and I see the person is slouched over, immobile, unconscious.
No.
And I'm quickly trying to figure out what's going on, and I see a pipe in his hand. And let me tell you, that pipe is not...
A lead pipe? Yeah.
It's a crack pipe.
This...
The kind that I've only ever seen on Intervention. And now in this man's hand. The man who just blew smoke into my mouth.
Listeners, my mouth is on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm telling you the tale of the time that I accidentally smoked crack secondhand. Yeah.
Okay, you need to immediately go into what were the side effects? What did you start to feel?
I felt hot.
Okay.
I felt hot. I felt fast. I felt invincible. Like I could, sort of pick up a park bench, throw it a mile. Yeah, I was feeling very strong, fast.
Yeah. Feelings you've never felt before.
Yeah, insatiable, not hungry. Not hungry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was
I could get used to
moving
that.
at, speeds that the normal human body can't fathom.
Yeah.
I could have entered the Olympics at that moment in time, actually. My husband sort of told me to just run it off.
Yeah. Your husband couldn't even see it. You were going so quickly. He's like, what's that, like, fast?
Well, I was so panicked that my heart was going to explode in this way. And ultimately it didn't, but I'm here to tell the tale, and I will try anything twice.
Yeah.
So
and here live on pod, we're gonna smoke some crack.
Yeah, but I only smoke it secondhand, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, no,
I'll shotgun you. Yeah.
Sure. I'm never gonna cross the threshold into doing it firsthand. I think secondhand was more than enough for my internal organs and sort of my bodily experience.
I am shocked, but in a way not shocked, because if there was one drug I would have been like, what that Greg has done, it's crack.
Did you smoke crack?
Yeah.
And to that I say, yes.
Yes.
Secondhand.
Wow.
Crack is whack, though. Crack is cheap,
Yeah.
as Whitney says.
Said. Did this crack experience lead to any revelations? Have you become a new person post this? Like, I think someone knocking at my door.
Yeah, let's
pause.
Oh my God.
Okay.
A long stay.
Listeners, we're cutting in yet. This is the episode where everything goes wrong.
Yeah, sort of like the play that goes wrong, which the Peter Pan play that goes wrong.
Never saw it.
No, of course, me neither.
Yeah. But
don't think it's my cup of tea.
I don't know where we were. If Greg was in the middle of a story, I can't remember. But
it doesn't matter at this point.
But basically, we had just finished talking about something. I don't even know if we had finished. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, banging happens at my back door. And we're kind of ignoring it at first because we're like, that can't be my back door. And then it becomes to a point where it's like, we have to address someone is banging at my back door.
Yeah, we're recording a podcast.
And I'm not talking about my butt.
We're recording a podcast. So much out of the ordinary has already happened. What else could possibly happen right now?
And so then we both are like, it sounds like I have to get the door because someone is in real trouble.
Sure.
Turns out that the person who lives across the hall has locked herself out. Mm-hmm. And and the person who helped me, not my dad mom sauce, the mother that I'm obsessed with, but the husband, who's very sweet. Sure. I walk out, he's holding a knife. Holding a knife, and he's like...
Very unconventional.
Unconventional in a way that would normally send a shiver down your spine.
Sure.
But he's like, can you help? Can you... like you've done this before. You've used a knife to break into your own. Or can you help this woman out? Uh-huh. And so then I had to spend 5 minutes trying to use a knife to Jimmy open her door because she had locked herself out and she has the stove on.
I prefer James. Just sounds classier.
I prefer Paul F. Tompkins.
Okay.
Boy. Anyways, it actually was unsuccessful ultimately because my door, I'm realizing, is a lot
flimsier.
A lot flimsier, a lot more like crack space. Title
you
that.
Generally have a lot more crack space.
A lot of crack happening in this episode. Uh-huh. And so I was doing it. I was like, your door is a lot sturdier than mine. And then she started calling a locksmith. But anyways, so like we literally had to pause the episode yet again while I'm like helping a woman break into her apartment.
Yeah. Well, wonders never cease.
But this actually leads me into, and we might be cutting this, but last Friday, I just like swerved things that people weren't expecting. This is something I wanted to bring up live on
last
pod.
Friday night. Let's save that for later.
Yeah. Which is, I asked our friend group to hang out. Greg was too cool for school, too busy. Him and Bat, his husband, had plans already. I was not invited to these plans, listeners. And so I asked...
Sort of confronting me with this on the pod.
100%.
Okay.
Well, because I have a feeling that you wanted to confront me on the pod, which is then we... So I asked Ben and our friend Ed to hang out. And Ben is going to school for a massage. For being a masseuse, is that the right term? I don't know.
Yeah, for body work. Body work,
yes.
Generally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and he has already given me a free massage. Greg has been desperately.
Yeah, Tim. Not only you, Anthony, your sister, everyone
Claude.
In your everyone. Not only in your nuclear family, but in your sort of extended, friend group as well.
You've been begging Ben to give you a free massage.
I would just sort of love any sort of attention at all.
And he sort of promised the next person he massages for free would be you. And so then I go over to his place last Friday, and I thought, listeners, wouldn't it be funny if I got a massage from Ben, or at least made it appear like I got a massage. So this is where I come out alive and tell you that was a prank. that photo. We sent Greg a photo of me face down on the massage table.
Fully nude, whole out.
Fully nude.
Crack exposed.
Yes, exactly.
Much like his door.
Very loose, wide crack exposed. And I believe Greg's response was, what the fuck? Or what was it?
No, I said, you've got to be fucking kidding
me. Yeah. Did you believe that was real?
Yes.
Anyways,
you're going to confront me.
I wanted to confront you on the pod and let you know that was a little prank because I love nothing more than April Fool's Day.
Oh, sure. Prank. I'm going to feel your back and feel for the knots that aren't going to be there.
It was an extensive because we had to set up the table. I had to like disrobe. We had to. We took. It was like a photo shoot. So what was the most believable fake massage?
Oh, sure.
But you delivered. We wanted a reaction. We wanted a reaction, and we got one.
I delivered in perfect Greg style, shutting down the conversation, threatening everyone.
No, because I wanted to continue, but then I was like, I don't want him to know. I want to wait till the pod to let him know that it was a prank. It was a prank.
Hello. I believe that, and I love it.
I let you sleep for like 4 nights thinking that.
Yeah, fully like you're blocked on my phone.
Yeah.
Like,
come to think of it, like Greg was being really distant, not really responding to my text.
Oh, I love that. What fun and games. Yeah. I love being pranked. And I'm so grateful that my friends thought of me in this beautiful way to prank me.
We thought, who would give us a good reaction in this moment? Let's send Greg a little text.
Oh, good. I hope you got the reaction you wanted.
You delivered it more.
I hope you gave it here on pod. You got it here on pod, too.
Yeah. Oh.
One more thing about Charli before we close. I wanted to point out, remember I brought up a famous genre of music that I have created. I've coined OCD songs.
How could I forget it?
And there is not another artist on the planet that's doing OCD songs quite like Charli XCX. It's enough to make me go just wild hummingbird, hummingbird, hummingbird.
Hummingbird?
Yeah, hummingbird.
Okay, so this is not the episode where everything goes wrong. It's actually where we return to the phoenix rises from the ashes.
A return to form. Yeah, 360. When you look in the mirror, do you like what you see? I'm everywhere, I'm so Julia. Ha ha. I was busy thinking about boys. Woohoo. Boys. Woohoo. Boys. Woohoo. I was busy thinking about boys. Woohoo. Boys. Woohoo. Girl. It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl. How do you feel being a girl? Everything is romantic. Oh. Wop. Everything is romantic. Oh. Wop. I spit the apple down symmetrical lines, and then I find it kind of scary. Makes me just want to drive. I want to drive. I'll drive all night. I want to drive. I don't care. I love it. I don't care. I love it. I don't care. I don't know about you, but I want to go check the lock on the door about 35 times right now.
Well, just give me a butter knife. I'll jab ourselves right out of that one. Listeners who are not watching, I was fully dancing along silently to Greg while he lost his damn mind to those OCD songs.
Yeah.
Wow, that was maybe the pièce de résistance of the pod.
Yeah.
Probably a signal that we've lost our minds, but also that we've regained it.
My head is spinning. Yeah. It's like reminiscent to the time I secondhand smoked crack. Shall we take a break?
I think we need to.
Okay. We're back.
Oh, wow. Okay, so thought we were on the same page there.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, just kind of like the rug right out from underneath me.
Yeah, well, like Charli, we're sort of remixing as we go. We're sort of evolving. Yeah, evolving.
Speaking of, taking ripping the rug right from underneath you.
Yeah, and not evolving.
And not evolving. It's time to get into Diva Down.
Yeah, Diva Down is, of course, our segment where we give unsolicited advice to something in the... I'm gonna fucking kill...
You know what it is? She has her oven on. She has her, stove on. And she can't get in.
I was smelling something.
It's like she has her, stove on, yeah. So I think it's probably just like the fire alarm, right?
Yeah, it does smell bad in here.
Well, we can open the windows.
Well, not smell bad.
But I don't think anything. It's just like turning your stove on for a while. Like, it's not gonna. You know what I mean?
But does she have something in it?
Yeah, she does.
Well, that's the smell.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
That's like what's burning.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
Since this is the episode
where everything
going wrong, the play that goes wrong.
Yeah, we are maybe we're changing our diva down.
We're pivoting our diva down.
Our diva down is the woman across the hall from me who just got locked out because, I don't know, listeners, if you can hear this, maybe you can't, but right now her fire alarm is going off while we were recording this.
Yeah, as if anything else could go wrong in this recording. Now her fire alarm is going off because apparently something I didn't learn earlier is that she has food in the oven.
That's on the stove. I believe when I left, because like my other neighbor is currently helping her, but she also was on the phone with a locksmith who was en route to come do it. But she has food on the stove or in the stove, and so now it is burning.
Yeah, it is burning. It smells. I think it's also smoky in here, but I can't tell. It is. We are.
That's the crack. I needed to calm down after that experience.
Sure.
Nice long soak.
Yeah. Sort of the opposite of calm is the effect.
Oh right.
Yeah. My advice to her would be, ideally get into the apartment. Ultimately, get into the apartment. Turn the stove off. Fire up Postmates because I think your food is busted.
Wait, I didn't even say this, which is also, so she's supposed to be picking up her room in the airport in 30 minutes, and her boyfriend is like 2 hours away who has keys, but his car has broken down. So like she's truly diva down. And then I'm like, I actually have to get back to filming a podcast.
Which is obviously much more important.
No, there was nothing more. We tried for a while. We couldn't get in, and there's a man who's still trying to break in with a knife there. But truly, my advice for this queen is, it happens to the best of us. It's actually happened to me.
Yeah. And your neighbor has been involved. Your other neighbor.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, not my prior Dodmom sauce, but her husband.
Yeah.
But my advice is, take your keys with you. This is advice I don't even take myself sometimes.
That
you know
is
what I mean?
good advice.
And then when you get in there, open up all those windows.
And come in here, open up all these windows.
And advice for us is maybe we need to, as soon as this pod ends, open up all the windows and then, maybe go for a walk around the block, make sure that we're not inhaling.
Yeah, maybe even evacuate. Because we might be in a situation. We might
need to end the pod because we need to evacuate.
Yeah. we have entered kind of, I think, a dangerous situation at this point. We
hope to see you next time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're here next week.
Yeah, we have reached the finish line, whether it's the finish line just of this episode or of our entire sort of lives.
Okay.
There's now another beep.
There's
another beep. We've got to go.
We've got to go. Okay. Gennifer Zs, we love you, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, of course. Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Miss Thing the Pod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media. BONK!